Hey there, and welcome to your practice. Today we're going to be doing a lower body prenatal stretching sequence. You will need a strap or something similar, a block or a pillow to sit on, and a bolster or a larger pillow for some of the deeper folds that we're going to be doing. So we're going to start in a seated position, seated upright, either on the pillow, on a block, or just something to help you get your hips above your knees. So allow your knees to drop down and rest your arms down on your lap. And take a few moments here to get comfortable in your seated posture. So I know that's not always easy, especially if you're later in your pregnancy. So give yourself some time to fidget around, get yourself cozy. And then once you find that position, just start to lengthen the spine a little bit, relax the shoulders down your back, and just connect with your breath. So if it feels good for you to close the eyes, you're welcome to do that, or you can keep them open, whatever works. Just take a few moments here to connect with your body if it feels right for you, maybe connecting with your baby. Just creating a space that feels open. A space that feels empowering, and a space that feels strong. Allowing any distracting thoughts to just come and go with the breath. Dedicating this brief practice to your well-being and the well-being of your baby. Take one more breath here. You're welcome to keep the eyes closed if that feels good, or gently start to blink them open. We're going to bring our hands to our knees here. We're just going to take some body circles, seated body circles, just to kind of warm up the sides. So on your inhale, start to lean forward and then slowly start to make circles in either direction. And they can be as fast or as slow as you'd like them to be. Again, I think a lot of the elements of a yoga practice are impacted greatly depending on which trimester you're in. I'm in my third, so I'm moving a lot slower these days. But the thing about yoga, it often reminds us it's all about just the respect of the body and honoring what it needs. Not from a place of judgment, but from a place of acceptance. Once you complete your last circle, pause, and then switch directions. And if it feels like too much to be seated upright, you can always come down to being seated on the floor. Throughout this practice, just modifying in any way that meets your needs. So for this practice, we're going to be focusing a lot on the hips, the lower body, and the side body. 3 things that I feel deserve a lot of TLC while you're carrying your child. So come back to center, begin to sit upright, and just take a clearing breath together. Deep inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Feel the length in the side body. Exhale, draw your hands in towards your heart. Now I invite you to come off of your block or your pillow, unless of course you want to stay on it. And we're going to come into a wide leg stance. So for me, sitting on a block is not comfortable in this position, but if you're on a pillow, it might feel really good to have a pillow underneath you. So come into a wide leg stance, engage through the legs, let the toes point up towards the sky as you kind of flex your feet back towards you. And this could seriously be as far as you go. And honestly, this feels like a pretty good stretch for me right now. But if you're looking to take it a little bit further, I like to bring a block or a pillow out in front of me. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, and then exhale, just start to come forward and down, resting your forearms either on the floor or on the block. Just always keeping in mind the goal of creating space or leaving enough space for your baby. So you never want to squish your stomach or do any sorts of intense twists. It's always about, does my baby have enough space? And then going from there. So just holding this posture. And if you feel like you can go a little further safely, you can push the block out in front of you. Take it a little deeper. And if your hips feel like they're getting too much of a stretch, you can always lessen the angle of your legs. I've been blessed to be able to practice yoga for many years and throughout my entire pregnancy so far. So I do have a little extra flexibility, but it's always very important to pay attention to what your body needs and not push it too far. You don't want to pull anything or hurt yourself. Slowly start to press back up into a seated position. And then we're going to keep the legs wide and we're just going to take this into a side bend now. So I'm going to use my block or whatever it is that you have for structure. And I'm going to put my right forearm down on the inside to the inside of my right leg. And inhale, just take your left arm up and over. So again, creating that open space for your baby, reaching through the left side of the body. You can look down at your right foot if that feels good, or keep your gaze up. Inhale, start to rise back up, taking your time. Switching sides. So block comes to the inside of the left leg, left forearm comes down. Inhale, reach your right arm up and over. Notice if the right sit bone starts to rise off of the mat. Try to anchor it back down. And even if it doesn't mean you can't take the full stretch, that's fine. Inhale, start to rise back up. So from here, we're going to come into, I don't know if this is even a formal yoga pose name, but I'd call it pretzel pose. So you're going to take one shin in front of you and you're going to bend the opposite leg behind you. So it's not like you're in pigeon pose. It's just you've got one leg in front and bent and the opposite leg almost doing the similar shape but behind you. So from here, start to reach the crown of the head up towards the sky as you lengthen through the spine. And you can again keep your block by you. We're going to take a little side bend out to the right. So right hand comes down, left arm reaches up and over. So you'll feel a very gentle hip stretch in this posture and also again another side stretch. You can take that block and use it for your forearm. Relax and breathe. Slowly start to press yourself back up. Bring your left hand to your right knee and then inhale, just reach your right arm up and over. So again, you don't want any crazy twists here. Just think that that left hand is just providing a little extra tension. You'll feel a more intense stretch on the right side. Take one more breath. And come back through center and switch sides. So use your hands as much as you need to help guide your opposite leg forward. So for me, my left shin is now forward, bending the right leg and brushing it behind you or sweeping it behind you. I'm going to take my left hand out to the left and reach my right arm up and over. Using my block for support. Also helps me actually get a little bit deeper into the pose, but then I don't feel unsteady. Bring your body back up to neutral. Right hand comes to left knee. Left arm reaches up and over. It's kind of almost like you're reaching your left arm just up. At least for me it is right now. Take one more breath. And start to slowly rise back up. So carefully bring both legs out in front of you, coming into seated. And we're going to bring the left foot now to the inside of the right thigh. It's like a seated tree pose. Grab your strap or your shirt or whatever you're using for support. You're going to take that around your right foot. Start to just get a little bit of tension on that strap, whatever feels good. And inhale, find length in your spine and just pause here for a moment, opening up through the chest even. And then exhale, slowly start to just come forward just to the point where you feel the stretch. So again, you want to create that space, keep that space for your stomach, for your belly. And think of this more as a lower back stretch. I even feel it in my mid back a little bit. It feels better to lean back. You can do that too. One more breath. Release the strap and change sides. So right foot comes to the inside of the left leg. Strap goes around the arch of the left foot. Inhale, find length in your spine first, and just pause here, feeling that nice strengthening back pose. And then exhale, just start to come forward and down, just to the degree where you feel the stretch. Noting that every day is different, every side is different. Honoring that. Inhale, slowly start to rise back up. Toss your strap to the side and we're going to come to bound angle pose with the support of a block. So the soles of your feet will come together, knees will go wide. Sit up nice and tall, lengthen the spine, and then bring your block to your feet. From here, just start to forward fold and rest your forehead on the block. Arms come out in front of you. Just pause. If you need to modify by taking the feet a little bit out further, do that. And slowly start to rise back up. So now we're going to grab our pillow or our bolster. We're going to bring it in front of us for a modified pigeon pose. You might want to keep your block in front of you for support. I'll show you why. So for pigeon, this is a very big bolster. Hopefully your pillow's a little smaller than this. You're going to bring your right shin forward. And you're going to take your pillow and you're going to actually sit on it, bringing it between your legs. So my shin is in alignment with my bolster. And then sink back into your hips so you're nice and upright and you'll be just able to be supported by your bolster. If you like to have block or blocks next to you just to rest your hand on, you can do that too. Maybe taking your gaze up. I could stay here all day, but I won't make you do that. So we'll begin to come forward, kind of an awkward transition, but you're just gonna slide the bolster away from you and switch sides. So now your left shin will come forward, or if you want to just take your left shin right over your pillow, you can do that too. But again, just move how your body wants to move. Align the shin with your pillow and start to almost straddle or sink back into the pillow and sit upright. Should feel a really big stretch here. Bring your hands to the bolster if it's giant like this one, or you can bring it to a block, to your hips. But again, don't stretch so far where it feels intense. You want it to feel like a good, nice stretch, but not something where it's borderline painful. Especially because our body is making so much more relaxin and different hormones that are impacting just the general anatomy of our body. So you just want to be extra careful. Even if you feel like you can do it, just maybe take it a step back. Take 2 more breaths. And then slowly, maybe more graceful than myself, start to come out of the pose. Move your pillow or your bolster to the side and come into tabletop pose and just take some hip circles here. In both directions. Nice and slow. Switch sides if you haven't already. And then take your knees. I like to take my knees about as wide as the mat. Bring your big toes to touch. And then sink back into child's pose, keeping your belly off of the ground. I like to put my forehead on a block just for extra support. And again, just adjusting accordingly so you have space for your belly to not be compressed. Start to let go of your deep breath. Feel the body begin to melt down in towards the mat. And you're welcome to stay there for as long as you like. Feel free to go back to any of the poses and hold them for longer if they felt good. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I appreciate you. Namaste.